Hello. We're back. Okay, to recap, to make sure. Okay, if you didn't get some of the steps, you need to go back and watch the first video. But remember, first off, I'm dead. I know, it's amazing. I can talk even when I'm dead. Okay, so I'm dead, first off. And I have my embalmer here. So I'm pretty lucky that when I died, I had an Egyptian embalmer right here. Whew. Talk about the odds of that. So she cleaned me,
took out some organs.
Yeah, I remember my brain. It was
put
really big.
Put them in the jars.
And then we took out the organs. Like right now, like you can't see, but this is like all like sunk in. Yes.
So now the next step for this is she's going to go through a really long process we're going to talk about here in just a second. But next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take oil, a nice perfumey oil, because this next step's going to take a while. So you're going to want perfume on this, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take some perfume oil, and I'm going to rub it all over her. This perfume oil.
Ooh, that smells
so that
good.
she does not stink, okay? So you guys will all appreciate that later on, trust me.
Yes, you wish you had smell visions right now.
The next part is the longest part. What we did before would take a couple days, but this part is really long. And this is called natron, and natron is a salt. Just like you have at your dinner table a nice salt, a sea salt, like we talked about in the Dead Sea, a salt. And what they do is they spread it all over the body, all over the body. Like literally we are soaking her or drenching her in salt all over. That also includes for the organs. We're going to put salt all over these organs, especially those intestines, and we are just going to cover her with salt.
Yeah. Now, also, like, have you ever made homemade ice cream before? You know the salt that you put in the homemade ice cream? A lot like that, too. It doesn't have to be
thicker.
Yeah, thick, crunchy, like rock salt type thing.
And it's called natron. Natron. And
natron.
I put her on natron. Now.
Yeah, I'm soaking in it right now.
This is the waiting part. The waiting part. What you actually would do, a true embalmer, we don't have this capabilities here at Mrs. Tugulis' house, but we would tilt her a little bit so she was at a little angle. And what I would put is a handy bucket at the end by her feet. Now, you're probably wondering why. There's good reason why.
Yeah, because I'm not peeing. I'm dead.
No,
so.
You're not peeing. You're dead. You've been dead for a while.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're draining out all that fluid. All that salt is going to pull out that fluid from her body. And we are completely and totally trying to dry her. So you would put a bucket at the end where that table is sloping down. And it would just start collecting. It's okay. It would start collecting lots of fluid.
So what we're trying my friend's doing this. Woo.
We're trying to dry her out. Many of you guys like this kind of food. We're trying to dry her out so she's like a beef stick. We want to have that wrinkly feeling. We're drying you out. But not so that we can eat you.
Okay, good.
We're just drying out her body. Everything's dried out. This is going to go on for 40 days. So for the 40 days, we're going to sit here and we're going to let her body dry out.
We could talk, though. We could have some conversation. What is she? 40 days.
40 days. 40 days. Now imagine back then they didn't have refrigerators or any way to preserve their body. For 40 days in Egypt, which is a hot area, they are sitting outside. That's why we put perfume on her before she started this process.
Yeah, that's very important.
Now, after 40 days, can you imagine after 40 days of being dried out what she's going to look like? Pretty much her arm, there's not going to be any fluid in here, any muscle. Everything's gone. And basically what you see is her bones, okay?
So like my skin covered,
The first thing you're going to do is we got to plump her back up because we got to make her body look like it did before because she's completely dried out.
Yeah, and if my spirit, it's going to wander around. It's going to be like, where's Miss Nicholas? I can't find her. Oh my gosh. She's not going to be able to find me.
No, and in her spirit, it could possibly happen. So the first step is
very important.
This cavity where I took all of her organs from in her stomach, you're going to take rags and you fill them up with rags. So you put some rags in here. That's what they used before, and they stuffed it in there to make it big. They also...
Did they use something else besides rags?
They also use sawdust.
Oh,
they also use sawdust
that's important.
to figure that out. Now,
that's going to eat it. Because you know how sometimes, like, well, probably not when you, but when we were, Mrs. Etter and I were in elementary school, if someone puked,
sawdust.
Yeah, they use sawdust to, like, help absorb the puke when you were at school. This is when we were in elementary school. Because sawdust does that. It absorbs things really well. So anything that was left in there, they threw sawdust in, so the sawdust would go like...
suck all that out.
And suck all that
now,
moisture
remember,
out.
I'm only 29 for you people who are wondering. So elementary
Yes.
school wasn't a long time
No,
ago.
no, not at all.
Now, the next step they had to do was they had to, remember her arms, I said, is basically down to the bone. And we got to plump this back up to the original structure. So what they would do is they would take their handy knife.
Oh,
there was a solution to this. They would take their handy knife and they would cut a slit in the arm. A nice slit, usually probably underneath where people wouldn't see it. Yeah. And then what they do is they take mud. Mud. I know. Mud. Your boys like to play in mud. It's okay. They would take mud and they would compact it. See? They would start filling it up in that slit to make it nice and puffy, just like they would. They would do the same thing on her legs, where her calves maybe were, and they're all down to bone. They would take mud and they would just start filling it in right where it goes. That includes the cheek area, which is totally and complete. I know you guys are all daring me to do this right now. That includes the cheek area. That's all nice. You know, her face also has been sunken and completely sunken in, eyeballs, everything. So the next thing they would do also would take the mud. It's for the kids.
Oh, yes.
I know you guys can pay me later. They would also take the mud and they would shove it in the cheeks to build that area up. So all important. Now, the final step, once they have her all put back to her normal body shape, what they're going to do is they're bringing out the perfume oils again.
I need it. Not going to lie.
It's been 40 days.
Yeah, I need it.
Yep, and she looks like this. Remember, she looks like my beef jerky. So what we're trying to do is smooth out her skin as much as possible. So we're going to take some more oil, and we are going to rub.
That's why. Have you ever seen those? And I'm not trying to be mean, but have you ever seen those people, like, especially if you went to Florida, some of those older people that have been in Florida like their entire life, and they're real kind of wrinkly. That's kind of what it would look like. That's why we got to put this oil so that it looks smooth and I don't look like a dried out piece of shoe leather.
Yeah, we don't want her to look like that. Seriously, we don't want her funeral to have her be looking like that.
No,
so
my
we would
spirit
put
recognize me.
All over her completely. Once we have oil over her, we've plumped her up. She's smelling a lot better, not gonna lie, compared to what she was before.
Yes.
Now the problem is her eyes. Your eyes.
Yeah.
All cavities we have to kind of worry about. Like the nose, we would find things to plug that up so that people can't, or not people, I guess people wouldn't be going up to your nose. They might be picking your nose, but not going up. I'm not a friend who picks nose.
Okay, good.
But they're worried about other creatures, bugs and stuff like that getting up there, and also bugs getting in the ear. So they would put a material in there to plug those up. Now her eyes is a big vicinity where we can have lots of stuff go in. So they had a solution.
Oh, good.
And the
What's
solution was onions.
My eyes are not that big.
It's okay, it'll work for today. Now, you know, onions usually make you cry, but that's not a problem. What they would do is they would take a nice white pearly onion. This is all we had here, sorry. They would take a paint, and they would paint her eye color and make it look like real, and then they would place her eyes right on top of her face.
And actually, onions, they've done research, thank you. Onions have like an antiseptic quality, like you know how when you get a cut, like you put the A&D on it, or not A&D, but Neosporin and that kind of thing has antiseptic. Onions have that same quality too. So they put it in the eye, not that you're ever going to get your eyes back after you're dead, but it helps that cavity to heal and to not smell and then to not get infected and then like get maggots and...
And the last thing that they did to her before we started our next process, which we'll get to, is besides fake, I know, I thought I'd make you blondie, rock out. The next thing that they would have to do was put fake hair on too, because your hair is going to be a concern. It's probably really dried out, brittly, and so forth. So fake eyes. Oh, let's give them a picture so that they can see. Fake eyes, fake hair, and she is styling, and she's back to her normal. That is the second step to this whole process of mummification, my little pumpkin. So we will see you in a few.